Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Artificial DM. So, I have some news. Being as the coronavirus is going on, I don't have work. Being as such, I'm going to try to make sure I put out a few videos a week, especially to help provide some entertainment for all of you lovelies trapped at home as well. So, let's jump into it. We're going to be returning to r/RPG horror stories. This story is from the user Findrell Underback. I ruined my first campaign and almost ruined D&D for my friends. Might not be as horrific as some of the other stories here, but I'm still ashamed of this one. I began homebrewing stuff almost immediately after I started DMing about 15 years ago, and was really excited to share the world I'd been working on with my buddies. It was loaded with all sorts of new creatures and magical items. I was so stoked to see them in action, so I dished them out often, which I've learned is a terrible idea. The party became hugely overpowered, and though I tried to balance things out with stronger enemies, the allure of magic items was gone in just a few sessions. When a level 3 goes,
"Oh, right! The axe that was forged in the literal fires of hell! I forgot I had that!"
you know you fluked up somewhere. So when they showed up for session 6 or 7, I began by saying that their wagon, carrying all of their gold and magic stuff, had been stolen overnight. I had to improv from there, and basically, obviously, they wanted it back, but I had planned for that to just be a fresh start. So they tracked down some bandits that had taken their stuff to an evil wizard. I panicked when it looked like they were actually going to defeat him, so I made him way stronger on the fly, made them watch him disenchant the items, and absorb the powers while they could do nothing, and then get banished after a brief fight with this basically invincible enemy, since I didn't want to kill them either. I made them sit through this poorly thought out and incredibly frustrating session, destroying everything they had worked for without them being able to do anything. They told me later it came off as me having some grudge on them, and this was my petty revenge. I basically made every single rookie DM mistake and almost lost all my friends over it. Trust me, as a DM, I have made a lot of massive mistakes. But the great thing is, you can always learn and improve and continue to run games. This story is from the user King Ernest. We spent 3 months in real life trying to get a magic item no one wanted. Some background is that, as our forever DM, I had just finished a big storyline, and one over-enthusiastic player said he wanted to DM for the first time. I liked the idea of rolling up a character, so I said sure. We had ended my story arc as prisoners on a boat being shipped to wherever he wanted. Before he started, I tried to offer him some tips and tricks on DMing, but he said he had watched enough Critical Role to know how to DM. We were playing 4th edition at the time, so a completely different system, and that this story was a lot more complicated than mine, so I couldn't really help. I shrugged that comment off and just let him roll with it from there, and decided not to butt in. We then spent 2 sessions on the boat where half of us players failed to check to break out of their cages, and thus were left doing nothing for 4 hours. By the way, the rest were left doing the equivalent of a cooking sim, as they pretended to be part of the crew cooking dinners. After that fiasco, we made it to a set of islands inhabited by Gith, and things started to pick up. Our ranger, who had been adopted, got attacked by a group of assassins, and after interrogating one of them, found out that his birth parents were high-ups in this criminal organization called the Dark Angels, and that his blood was needed for an evil ritual. This brought everyone back into the game, and we were psyched up to kill some cultists. This hype did not last long, however, as a new player joined the group during the very next session, a Dragonborn cleric of Avandra. Now, some blame does have to lie with the player, as he went into the game without telling the DM his backstory. However, it was his first time playing a tabletop RPG, and the DM didn't ask him for it. All the DM said was,
"You need a reason to be going to a temple of Avandra on this island."
This led to a bit of a pickle, as once we had taken a small detour from our strict schedule to beat some assassin butt, and arrived at the temple, the cleric said, "I am here to find the egg of my child, which Avandra told me lies within this temple." To which the head cleric replied, "No,
you're not. You're here to find the Boots of Avandra.
To which we all let out a bit of a chuckle at the name, as we thought he was joking. But after he gave us a stern look, we shut up. Then he took the cleric outside, and after 10 minutes, basically came back and said, as he didn't give me the story, we're going with my story. Now, I don't believe the player should have expected the DM to come up with a super cool story on the spot, but I also believe just giving him an egg and leaving it at that would have been fine. Whereas, now, we were all forced to go on the most monotonous journey of our lives. Over the next 3 months, we had to go from island to island to complete oh my goody challenges that involve fighting Gith monks over and over again. Always the same, never any monsters that got involved or attacked on the journey. The worst part was that each fight happened to end with the DMPC monk who was guiding us. Somehow, he kept delivering the killing blow that was described in immense detail to sound extra cool, while a ranger who rolled a 2 ended up putting his arrow in backwards and broke it and a bow. We had all gotten bored by session 2 and spoke quite openly about it to start and kept saying we wanted to go fight the Dark Angels. I even took the new DM aside and told him how everybody wasn't having fun and that maybe he could at least speed it up if he didn't want to just drop the storyline. He replied that it'd all be worth it once we found the boots and that we would eat our words. So after weeks of seeing his DMPC outshine and mock us, we finally found the coveted Boots of Avandra. Within the cave that held them was writing sprawled across the walls. Suddenly, the DMPC found out a huge family secret, and had his life flip turned upside down. We did not care, and instead just ran to the boots. Upon getting them on, we were expecting a full A4 page worth of notes on the abilities of these shoes. Instead, the DM just smugly looked around the room and said,
Now, you can walk on water.
3 of us just burst into laughter. 3 of us started descending into madness. The cleric just stared at the DM for a minute before getting up and heading home. The cleric and I didn't go to the next session, but we heard that one character got kidnapped by a brothel, despite not going anywhere near it, and my character got unceremoniously killed off. Luckily, he left the group shortly thereafter, but we still freak out whenever we find a pair of boots, or use a spell to walk on water. TLDR? Don't tell players they want something they don't. Do not disregard a player's complaints. But most importantly, screw the Boots of Avandra! Could you imagine running around for 12 sessions just to find one magical item for one character that has one ability? Yeah, I don't blame the cleric or OP for not going back for the games. But even let's say that you spent 12 sessions to go and hunt down an item, let's say it's the MacGuffin. One of the biggest problems here is the DM isn't listening to what his players want when they're being vocal about what they want. And in addition to that, he has a DMPC. DMPCs can be what breaks a campaign, especially when the DMPC is way better than the players. Have you ever had a similar story with the DMPC? Or months of sessions that ended up going to waste? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, you guys know what to do. Until next time, hope you feel inspired.